Well, let's bring you that story. Nehawu has threatened a massive strike after the national lockdown. The union isn't happy with government's failure to implement a 2018 wage increase that would have taken effect yesterday. It says the Public Service Department is using COVID-19 and the fact that the economy is in recession as a scapegoat. The union's Deputy General Secretary, Mavuso, joins us via Skype now. Mr. Mavuso, thanks so much for your time. April 1 has come and gone. Have your members received letters confirming pay increases or not?
Good morning, Goli. We can confirm that nothing has been received by our members. In fact, you will know that most of our members, they work in HR. They're responsible for working on the system to make any changes in the salaries adjustments. As of yesterday, the confirmation was that there's nothing that has been adjusted to show the new increase come 15 April.
Yeah. Your membership core, Mr. Mavuso, your membership core as Nehawu, are these the workers on employment level 1 to 8? And there's a specific reason why I ask you about this question.
No, we represent members from level 1 to 12.
Level 1 to 12. All right.
Yes.
Now, the understanding is that there has been a revised offer tabled of a 4.4% increase. Is that your understanding as well?
Well, that's what the employer on the 25th of March put on the table with an attempt to renegotiate or review the current existing agreement. We've said to the employer from the first time they raised this matter on the 25th of February in the bargaining council that this agreement is not up for review. We should be preparing for the next round of wage negotiations for 2021 going forward, and that we're at the last leg of this current agreement, which must be implemented as is. So they table a 0% increase on the 25th, on the 25th of February. On the 25th of March, they came back to say, if we are compelled to increase the salaries, we can give you a 4.4%, but that 4.4% will be taken from your 1.5% pay progression, which amounts to 10 billion, which is money due to these workers. In other words, they say, if we are to give you something, we'll take something from you in order to give you something.
Yeah. Mr. Mavuso, it would appear to me that the economy is struggling, and already you are indicating that you're not interested in hearing any excuses whether we are in a recession or fighting COVID-19. My sense is that why don't you just take the 4.4 and walk away instead of getting nothing at all? Because if you look at the scale of workers who are in employment level 9 to 16, those workers are getting a 0% increase.
Well, that 4.4% amounts to nothing at the end of the day, because, as they explained it, it is going to be just a once-off 1 day's salary to employees at level 1 to 8, and then 9 upwards is a 0%. In other words, it is not a recurring, a salary percentage increase. It's going to be a 1 day salary. Now, we have an agreement signed in 2018, which government are aware of. They should have prepared for this. And they come now to talk about things that happened, long after they've started to indicate that they're not prepared to adhere to this agreement. It's unacceptable. But what we can't accept is that why focus on the public service workers who are represented by us and the PSAPC and not the entire public sector. The workers in the state agencies and state-owned enterprises, they are receiving their salary increase. There's no cut on wastages. They are not showing us how they're going to stop those wastages and deal with corruption decisively. They are not showing us how they're dealing with the issues raised by the Auditor General. So it's the fixation on the public service workers under the PSABC is highly problematic to us. These are the workers currently who are in the cold case dealing with the coronavirus, the nurses, the doctors, social workers, and so on. You want to punish the same workers.
Mr. Mavuso, let me come in here, if I can. You've now declared a dispute with the employer. I want to know from you what the ultimate aim of this dispute will be for not just yourselves, but the rest of COSATU's public sector unions. Because the reason I ask you this is that the Minister of Public Service and Administration, Senzo Mkhunu, says government is still committed to this 2018 agreement. Do you believe him when he says that?
Well, that's why we issued a statement and said this is misleading. We don't know what he means when he says he's committed, because if he's committed, he will show us that we are implementing the agreement come 15th of April. As things stand, there's nothing that is showing that kind of a commitment. All we want with this dispute is the enforcement of this collective agreement as it stands. And then let's start discussing how we prepare the next round of wage negotiations.
Yeah. You haven't answered my question about the ultimate aim of the dispute. Will we see all of COSATU's public sector unions going on strike?
Yes, we are together as COSATU unions on this dispute. And I must just say that it's currently it's a dispute of right. It's an agreement that was signed and it's part of the employment contract of workers. So it's not a dispute of interest. So we can't talk about a strike yet, but there are mechanisms to enforce a collective agreement which we're going to follow. But if it comes to a push, there's nothing wrong with us mobilizing workers at the later stage for a massive action. Yeah. And as I'm saying, as COSATU unions, we've been in discussion together all the time. We're together in this dispute.
Yeah. Mr. Mavuso, very quickly for me, I am out of time, but I've got to put this question to you. This morning, the Transport Minister, Fikile Mbalula, has told this station that members of the public who use taxis are actually going to be given masks when they get into taxis. You've complained that your members are not given these protective tools. Where do you believe the minister is going to get these if your members who are in the front line of this fight in public health institutions are not getting these?
Well, I don't know. I can't speak on behalf of the minister. We've been trying to reach out to these ministers, in particular the Minister of Health. We've written to him, and hence we've decided that we're going to take him to court because it is unfair what they're doing to these workers. I know that our General Secretary last night has been in discussion with the department. We'll hear this morning what has come out of the discussion. But I'm not sure what the Minister of Transport is talking about.
December Mavuso, thank you very much for your time. Nehawu, Deputy General Secretary.